I think there's a real popular misconception that we don't love the game and that we want to be the centre of attention, whereas that couldn't be any further from the truth.
I think there's a perception that referees just turn up on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon and just do the game without any training or preparation or preview work in the week.
They are the fittest referees that I've ever seen.
You've got a discipline within yourself to train hard. You just want to do well.
At the forefront of our mind and our work ethic is what do we need to do to best facilitate this game.
We need to make sure the individual goals don't override our team goal.
We won't be able to iron out consistencies unless we're together as a group.
You do work as a team, but the reality is that you're in competition week to week.
When Liam goes on to major games, I want to be in that position. And I'm sure when I go on to major games, Liam wants to be in that position as well.
You see what these guys do every day, you see how much training goes into it. It's not all about the 80 minutes on pitch on a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday.
If they have the opportunity to get square, right, and they choose not to, then we step in immediately. He's a slow ruck, he has every opportunity to get square and stand side by side, right?
If we were going to go to a women's Super League team or a men's Super League team, we'd expect to see physio and strength and conditioning and nutrition and well-being and mindfulness and psychological support, and that's exactly the same with match officials. If we expect them to be elite at the weekend on a Thursday or a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, we have to give them an elite environment to train in.
I think there's a perception that referees just turn up on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon and just do the game without any training or preparation or preview work. It's a strict programme and you're doing training sessions all based on trying to get the best performance out of you come the weekend.
Today is a big focus on getting on the baselines of our strength testing and our physio testing. We do our 5 repetition max of a back squat, a trap bar deadlift, and then we're looking at some capacity loads of the single leg glute bridges within 30 seconds.
Everything that we do is about improving performance. The whole job will become more difficult if we don't work together to improve standards. It becomes more difficult for everybody because we all go out under more pressure if we're not performing well as a group. The reason that we're all involved, we actually love rugby league. We only wanted ever to get involved to improve the sport.
I never anticipated being a full-time referee, never anticipated being a referee. I always loved the sport and I was always a big fan of the sport. Never expected it to be my career. So for it to play such a massive part in my life as well as career is something that did take me by surprise, but a great surprise and something to work in a sport that you love and you have loved all your life is special.
Players coming up side by side, yeah, we'll penalise them and we'll set restart them. But then the players where somebody's backing off and they're like this, are we then leaving them? Probably different to a lot of people who fell in love with rugby for different reasons, but for me it was just kind of being out there, man-to-man confrontation, and that's what was my first love of rugby. I've always been really outdoorsy child. We had that outdoor lifestyle. I always enjoyed that, so the Marines and the military in general, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be outside, I wanted to be with similar people, like-minded people. I finished college at 18 and joined straight away. I got sent out in the February of 2010 to Sangin in Afghanistan. So we was on pretty much our last patrol. I'll go up onto a roof just to give some overwatch. Everywhere you went, you used to have to turn all the ground over with a knife to check for IEDs. And as I put my knife into the ground to turn it over the first time, I just like a loud bang and I just didn't really know what had gone on. And then I realised that I'd been shot through my chest. So I've just obviously not thought, crawl to the edge and chuck myself off that, because if anybody has to come up and get me, there's obviously a gun trained on that location, so they're going to get shot. And that wasn't a conscious decision. That's just, I thought, I need to crawl to the edge and get off. I was in a coma for, three and a bit weeks. I lost pretty much all my right lung. Falling off the roof, I slipped a disc in my back and broke all my ribs. As a result of those injuries, I could no longer be deployable within the Marines. I only ever signed up to be deployable. I wanted to go on tours, I wanted to do stuff. I would never, ever have refereed if I hadn't been injured, because it was never on my mind. I just wanted to kind of give back a little bit to the sport that I'd enjoyed up until being 21, 22 when I got injured. So I went and did a referee course, and I just kind of went from there, went kind of through the ranks, and then once I got onto the ladder, I kind of flew through the Conference, Academy, League One Championship into Super League. It's not easy coming to refereeing late, but for me, I felt it was a massive advantage. I do genuinely think it was a blessing. I've got a full new career that I love and that I'm passionate about, that I can do into my 40s if it's something that you want to do. So no, I'm really happy.
Officials have a job to do, a critical job, where sometimes it is easy and it's like conducting an orchestra and the players want to play and get on with it. But then there's critical calls in a game which you're only human, you've got to make, and you can get them wrong.
At the forefront of everything we do during the week and going into games, we want to do the best for each game. Now that might be different from game to game, what that game needs, but at the forefront of our mind and our work ethic is what do we need to do to best facilitate this game.
Their aim is, of course, they want to referee the big games, but they see the benefit of the whole standards of the group improving kind of month on month.
I'd say the competition between me and Chris is healthy, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't want to be the one who finishes on top at the end of the season, and that's important. We both work together really well, but actually there's no getting away from the fact we're clearly, and I've been for several years now, fighting for them big games.
I think the dynamic between myself and Liam, the word to define it is competition. I'd not refereed a grand final since 2020, so I think the main aim going into 2024 was to try and get back at Old Trafford.
And you bring your timekeepers into it of, oh, he didn't ESS at restart, so he didn't say anything. Like, it's a world of pain, that.
My goals going into the season were to consolidate my position as the #1 referee in the country. When you've done 3 grand finals, you want the next one, you want the 4th, you want the 5th. Not getting that at the end of the season is a failure.
A successful season is certainly the big games going well, so semi-finals and finals. Those big events we don't want to be decided by a poor refereeing decision that's incorrect. But the main thing is, can people see a consistency across the season?
I think any kind of major event or major game during the season, whether that be an opening game, a big game at Easter, semi-finals, finals, you want to be the referee.
I think the first game of the season and being whoever is appointed to the first game of the season is a big responsibility. There's a trust that comes from the department there to appoint you to the very first match.
The selection will have been made on performance in the pre-season training. How good have they looked physically? How have they responded in meetings? How have they performed in the mental skills when under fatigue? Have they looked good on the friendly games? So there'll have been a sit down between the coaching staff to decide who do we think is best going on that first game.
Wake up in the morning, you kind of get that buzz thinking, especially if it's a big game as well, the adrenaline's pumping and you look forward to it, whereas I think when you're younger you have a bit less experience, it probably is a bit more nerves, but no, I think I'm just looking forward to it tonight. I don't approach any game with any kind of preconception. I don't think you can go into a game with that at the forefront of your mind. I think you've got to very much let the game come to you as opposed to you go looking for the game.
Just continue nice and chilled, keep it that level where we've been at in terms of comms to players, just being really approachable, let the decisions come to you, don't be chasing decisions.
I've refereed the last 5 opening games of the season to Super League, and each one of them is very different. The whole derby had a different dynamic. I'd probably say it was the biggest in many ways, in terms of it felt like a very big start to the season for the comp.
Right then fellas, should we go for a run? Do you want me to public?
I like that. You missed out the word adoring.
No, not like that.
I just have set routine, I'll do a couple of laps, a good stretch, like visualise in the middle, actually getting the movements, getting your hips right and stuff like that.
I felt a lot of responsibility, but actually went out feeling a lot of trust from the department with me to go out and deliver a real strong performance to kick the season off for the department.
Carry on where we left off, get Neil now. Go up, Rich. Yeah. Go up, everywhere.
Our referee tonight, one of the most experienced men in the game at the moment in that position.
Make contact with the head, it is forceful and dangerous, and in our opinion it's high level force and it's a deliberate act. Mate, that's a red card.
These games are idle now. When a team's down to 12, especially in an old derby, the crowd gets on the back. But listen, honestly, if they go again and we need for sin bin or sending them off, we'll go again. So we've just got to keep our standard. No, we're going to get backed on them because everyone in the world knows like that. If we'd not sent that one off at the end, every club visit we've done this year might as well have been a waste of time.
That was a red card last season and the season before. There's nothing new about that.
The first offence is you across the head, which instigates the situation, right? So you're going to the bin.
Yellow card.
Just come here. Right, we've got the first offence, that's the penalty. But then use your knee and make direct contact with force in retaliation to Parcel's head. Right, that's a red card, mate. Direct contact.
Lingy sails away as well. Oh my word, it's a red card. It's a red card for retaliation. It's a second sending off for Hull FC in this game.
Oh, nice and easy.
You generally get feedback from your team. So the touch judges I would speak to any coaches who were around or any other officials involved in the performance. Spoke to Chris, who was the video referee after it. And you kind of gauge where the performance is and any potential issues that may arise on the back of it.
There is a direct knee to the head with force. If there is. In retaliation, but Chris's feedback was, I'll go with a penalty against Parcell, but leave Parcell on the field, and that just didn't feel right to me. So that would have been wrong. I've put Parcell in the bin on my own back, as he's the instigator effectively, but then Chris has come in with the input of retaliation, direct knee with force to the head.
If you're at the game, you might well go in after the game, speak to the referee, give him some immediate feedback, and the referees will understand that that's your immediate view from a live watching of a game from a stand.
We couldn't tell the force, we'll be honest, in terms of the contact, from where we were sat.
The referee will then leave, go home, generally wait until the day after, and they will watch the game in full. Probably take them 3 to 4 hours to go through chronologically all the decisions, detail, how they manage the players, the ruck, for example. And the coach will do exactly the same. And then they'll meet up 24 hours, 36 hours after the review's completed, and they will go through and compare notes. If there's some differences, then they'll discuss those and come to an outcome. And all the big decisions then will be put on a group review with all the other games, with all the referees to try and generate this consistency within the group.
Plenty of flashpoints in the match, plenty of cards, but the key moments all felt as a department that we got them right on balance, and from an opening night, that is clearly a big objective ticked off.
My earliest memory is going to watch games with my grandparents. We're a rugby league family. My brother plays, my younger brother just started reffing. It just means family. We've grown up through it, and it's the only sport we've really known. 2024 was all about making my Super League debut. There's always been an overriding sense of it's time sensitive. My mum had stage 4 cancer. The nature of the illness, like you don't know at that stage whether it's going to be a couple of months or if you're going to get another 12 months. So the start of the season, and particularly pre-season, was all based around trying to break through and make my debut. I really wanted to sort of get that first one over the line. I had to do this while my mum could still see it.
I could give everybody the first shirt if I wanted to, but it has to be on the right day, at the right time for that person. Sometimes if you give a referee a game that's too early in his career, that's too big for him, it can set him back 6 months, 12 months. So we're very strategic in the way that we appoint games to make sure we think it's the right environment and the right game for a referee. I needed to know that when I looked him in the eye, was he ready for the game? Am I putting him on this game too early in his career?
So this week's quite special for us this week because there's going to be number 52 going in Super League. So Liam Rush, as you can imagine. Liam will do London versus Warrington this weekend, so congratulations mate, welcome to the club.
Cheers, thanks, just big stitch up here, I'm crying already. Just thanks everybody, like your support since I came in the group and stuff. Like I said, like you all know what's going on and this is just huge. Like I set a goal this year that I wanted my mum to see it when it happens, and like we're here, so all good.
You sit down and speak to him on a regular basis. I watch him. Is he overawed by people in the group? He's not. You know, he feels as though he's on a par with them. It was over a period of time that I watched his performance on and off the field, and we thought, you know what, this is his time now.
The shirt presentation was emotional. I know kind of how much that moment and that occasion meant to that family. I'm getting a little bit choked up now thinking about it. Just really pleased as well that we can do that as a group.
This shows the collectiveness of the group. They were all happy for Liam and the fact that he's got his opportunity, and they knew he'd earned his opportunity. That's the important thing. You know, they work with him day in, day out. They know how hard he works, and I know we got it right. I know we got the timing right.
Generally speaking, I don't think I'm an emotional person, like necessarily like visibly. But I must admit, like when I saw his mum walk through the door, I can feel myself like almost feeling it a little bit now. But like when I saw his mum come through the door and just the reaction, you know, it was. I can see how special that would be.
It was unreal. We were all in floods of tears, and the fact that it was just a total surprise. My mum just said, "You've done it." She said, "You've done it," which like three words. You know, how much can 3 words tear you up? But yeah, that's all she said. That's all she needed to say, because we all, like as a family, we all knew that that's what it meant.
I think the challenging thing going into games is you don't know exactly what game you're going to get. I'd like to think semi-final rugby, two teams that have got exciting players on a real good track in a good stadium with a good crowd. I'd like to think that we're just going to get a real free-flowing open game of rugby.
A semi-final is just let the teams play, they're not likely to want to mess around because they don't want to concede penalties. Ultimately, it comes down to how do you adapt to what's given to you. You know, if you land on the game, we've got a lovely strategy going into it, and the players don't give you anything like what we've expected or what we've previewed, you've got to be able to adapt. You've got to have plan B, plan C, plan D.
It's not bad, that, is it, Granta? First win at day. I think you end up more nervous for a semi-final than you do for a final, because when you've been appointed to a final, your name is on the game. Going into the semi, you know the final is 3 or 4 weeks later, and you know that this is either a big step forward to getting the appointment or a major step backwards in not getting the appointment.
You just said a couple of minutes with Sam. Hold up. It's just focus, innit?
Yeah.
We've worked 10, 12 weeks to get here. It's just about focus now. No pressure.
Don't look too far ahead. Do your job well. Don't try and go outside your process.
Do what's expected here.
We'll do well as a team. These are the days that we do for it.
I thought the semi-final, I delivered a good performance. I don't think it was my best performance, but kind of the positive aspects. I thought I managed the game well. I thought my penalty selection was of a high standard, and I generally let the flow of the game, kind of left that down to the players rather than needing to step in. And a lot of that is what the players give you and dictate to you. But generally, kind of, I was able to step back and let stuff play out.
Your referee this afternoon is Liam Moore. Video referee, should he be needed, is Ben Thaler.
The semi-finals goal, it was a fairly easy semi-final. I've refed them that's been much more difficult. Warrington won convincingly in the end. It wasn't a particularly close game. I think there's always things you can improve on, and there's decisions I wish I could have had again. And only minor decisions in terms of, was it a knock-on, was it a ball steal? But on reflection, I probably went the wrong way on one or maybe two of them.
That causes it, you're in the bin.
I put Huddersfield player in the sin bin. I felt as a team we managed that situation pretty well. So I certainly felt I put myself in a good position.
Coming out the semis, I thought both semis had gone reasonably well. I don't think there was a front runner. I think coming into the week of the final appointments, I felt like it could have probably gone either way.
There were incidents in both games that we could have refereed better. Don't think they were game deciding, but they had impact in the game, and that was something that we needed to work to with both referees. There was very, very little between the performance of the two contenders in Chris and Liam. We spoke as a team of coaches. We were probably in the meeting for 90 minutes to try and decide which way we were going with the referee. We looked at all the pros, all the cons of each. We looked at how they've refereed the teams who were in the final during the year. Had there been any issues? There was nothing to split on that. It was looking at, from round one, who we felt was the strongest at that position of the season. The Challenge Cup final appointment was difficult because you've got to let that person down. It's an emotional meeting, one-to-one with that person. And then you've got the elation of the other person who does get selected. So it's quite a roller coaster during the week.
It's absolutely devastating because you know at that point, right, well, one's gone straight away. You know, it was, yeah, that was a bit of disappointment. But yeah.
I think the overriding feeling is relief that the work you've put in pre-season, the week-to-week games, the Challenge Cup semis, the Challenge Cup quarters, that the work you've put into that period is worth it.
In this hotel, we've got the match officials, match commissioners and timekeepers for the Women's Challenge Cup final, the Men's Challenge Cup final and the 1895 Cup final. Everybody's travelled down together today, so there's quite a good bond when people get off the coach and then ready for tonight's dinner and shirt presentation. The recognition of the amount of work these people have put in. There's a lot of sacrifice for themselves and the families, so to recognise people in that way with an official shirt presentation is an important one.
By the time Friday comes, the relief has turned to excitement, and I think 2024 Challenge Cup final was probably different to 2023 Challenge Cup final for me. 2023 Challenge Cup final was the first time, maybe carried a bit more nerves. I couldn't take the occasion in, the weekend in as much, whereas 2024, I almost knew what to expect a little bit. The Friday, like the shirt presentation and the meal before and enjoying everyone's company, I felt like I could probably enjoy that a little bit more. I could enjoy that day and then go to sleep, wake up the next day knowing, right, I know what I need to go and deliver now.
It's a big day for my family. I remember coming to Wembley with my dad and my family when I was only little. So it's everything. We'd have sandwiches, we'd stop at services, we'd have his face painted. My sisters would have the ribbons in the hair and everything like that. Look at you, mister. Are you ready for Wembley?
See you soon, Daddy. Love you.
Give me a kiss. Or just a wave. What about blowing? Sarah especially, she has to see me when I'm at rock bottom. When I'm coming home on a Monday or Tuesday after the appointments and I've not got the game I want. So she has to deal with me at my worst, but then she gets to see me at my best. To be able to celebrate the week and then to be able to have her and Max come today, that's everything. When I look up and I see my little boy in the crowd with Sarah, it'll just be the best thing ever.
She's healed it. It's a penalty, you can't heal the ball.
I'd be lying if I said even the night before, even the day of the game, I wishing it was me waking up refereeing the cup final and walking out at Wembley. But as soon as that whistle goes, I'm the video ref and to the best of my ability, and I park all the emotion. The emotion's all part. I'm just focusing purely on getting decisions right.
It's not one for me, that anyway. It's for on-field officials. It's a point scoring play, so they can check it. Liam, I have.
If I mess up, then that's on me and me alone. And not only is that, but I'm actually getting something wrong from a friend, or albeit a rival, but I'm getting something wrong for him, and and in many ways that's worse to kind of contemplate.
I think there's an aura around Wembley, and I don't know what it is. I wouldn't be able to put my finger on it. It's my favourite stadium to referee at in the world. You just think, wow. I mean, it's been embedded in English sport for so long, and it's kind of the mecca of sport. So to be able to kind of do what you love doing and on that pitch in that stadium, it's mega special. Before the game, going out to warm up, I looked at Sarah, I looked at my parents, I looked at Max. I had that kind of special moment to myself and then realised, right, okay, I've got a job to do now. That was very much game time then. That was, okay, I can enjoy my family after the game, but now it's about delivering for this 80 minutes of rugby and doing everything I can to make sure that this game goes well.
I could see the game playing out as in set for set for long periods of time. Without a decision to make, just going through his process, nailing every process, move on to the next one. And then when we've got something to make, decision to make, we make it.
Okay, when you're ready, mate, stay behind. Here we go.
People always say if we don't talk about the referee or we don't hear about the referee, he must have had a good game. That's not always the case. You know, sometimes the referee needs to be seen. So I'm very much an advocate of we need to see the performance at the right level, not just a referee who's quiet and stays out of the picture, because that might not be the right way to referee that game.
It's off, right? There is mitigation that he has forward, but there is a lot of force in that. There's a little bit of a swing as well. It's 10 minutes in the bin.
90 seconds into the 2024 Challenge Cup final, and Mike Cooper hits Josh Foulis in the head. Me and Liam are having a conversation, and we get to that we're going to have to sin bin Mike Cooper.
Dangerous, low end force, 10 minutes in the bin.
60 seconds after that, we had a Matt Duffy in the bin for hitting a Wigan player in the head. It was very much unexpected, but what the game and what we needed to deliver at that point.
Let's go. You go into a game with a plan A? Yeah, it soon goes to 5 minutes plan Z.
Concussion is no less important in a final than it is week to week. We've got a framework to work to, and I felt like me and Liam had stuck to that framework. So I wasn't kind of worried about the decision, but I knew it would be a talking point.
Run! Play on!
I think I knew probably the last 10 minutes of that game that this game has gone pretty well. And what we've delivered to this point is a really good level. Now that spurred me on for the last 10 minutes to be able to think, right, I'm not going to ruin it now, I'm going to carry on.
We thought it was a great performance, very, very difficult start, and then the game took over for itself after that.
When that whistle goes, it's probably a little bit of relief thinking, all right, well, yeah, that's gone well, I've enjoyed it, and the game's been decided by the players and not the refs. Going into the stands, seeing my partner Sarah, 8 months pregnant at that point with our second child, and being able to give Max, my little boy, a big cuddle. Seeing my parents, the best moment of my career so far, and I can't see it being matched.
How does it feel sort of to be hanging up your boots and retiring as official referee?
Well, I don't go into the gym anymore, so that's quite a bonus. Though some would say I never went in anyway, so that's a good thing. And I look forward to you all doing your fitness test as well from the side instead of actually running down. So, yeah, there has been some progress, and it's nice to know that after being called crap for 30 years, that now I'm quite good apparently now I'm finished. So.
Ben, you've been a great referee over the years to Rugby League and set a great standard on how to do it. One of the best refs in the sport, always fair, tough on both teams, always was genuine and a nice fella. Great referee, great character, loved him, except when he sent me off a couple of times. I didn't like him then. I wonder who that was. That could have been a few people, couldn't it? Wow, yeah.
I think you'd put Ben in that category of very much an icon within refereeing who will be remembered for years to come for his service. Not just his quips and his one-liners on the field, but very much his personality off it as well.
I think Ben has left a very, very positive impact on the match officials department. No one's ever done the same amount of games as Ben. He's a history maker, and he'll leave a big stamp on the game.
I was very lucky that I refereed the Challenge Cup final, the grand final, which any player or any official you set out to do. But actually, I'd as much enjoy going and refereeing Halifax versus Doncaster or Featherstone versus Batley. Because when you referee at those clubs, it really does have that family spirit. I do think that's one thing that Rugby League does have over other sports. My dad, who sadly passed away just before Christmas, he'd come to all my Super League games. The last picture I actually have with me and my dad is when I refereed at Wakefield in my last game, and they'd arranged for him to come from his care home where he was in his wheelchair with his carers. And I think that says something about the game of Rugby League as well, and the people involved. And that memory, not just for me, but my family, is something that'll live with me forever.
Ben's character goes before him. He's known around the sport, great personality. He's very well respected within the game. People like the way that he referees.
I've loved every bit, whether that be my first game, Stanley Rangers under-9s versus Milford under-9s in 1994, or my last professional game in 2024, 30 years later. I have really appreciated some of the ex-Super League players who've messaged me and I've spoken to since who actually said I loved playing in games you refereed. And if I'm remembered for that and being somebody who communicated and was fair, and it was a pleasure to playing games you refereed or watched, then that's all I want really.
The whole season comes down to one game. And we've got to deliver on that stage because we don't want to affect that game, so the one chance that team has got of winning the league is denied by a poor refereeing call.
With a grand final, you have to be the best referee at the end of the season.
I was obviously #1 at the point of the Challenge Cup final, and I felt like I'd kicked on at that point and consistently put out real high-level performances.
We've got two referees who had run neck and neck throughout the season, very, very little between them. Liam, we felt, improved over the year from the year before, so he's a better referee at the end of the year than he was the year before, but Chris just nicked it on his consistency across the year.
With the grand final, not getting that, it was the realisation 2024's gone. So yeah, it's tough, but I come back to the point, you've got to be professional. And actually, the minute you're not professional and don't perform to the best of your ability, that's when mistakes come.
Packed Old Trafford, 75,000 in there. When you get into Super League, that is your dream.
All right. Oh, you all right? Yeah, fine. Thank you. Oh, in the corner, eh?
I'd gone 4 years between my last grand final. I may never do this again, so I think I got to enjoy it a little bit more. Especially in the warm-up, when you're not pressured, you're not thinking about decisions, you can take it all in rather than being solely focused on the rugby. Each ref probably has a slightly different kind of dynamic of a dressing room. Mine is very much a relaxed environment where people can, if they want to, be in a corner and have a little bit of focus. Whatever gets you ready to go out and deliver, you can do.
So to start the game, Wigan kick off towards where we are. Sweet. Yeah, all the best boys. Good luck. All the best, man. All the best.
The 2024 grand final was exactly how I wanted the game to go. Neither team or players went to spoil. I could just sit back and let Bevan French decide, let Mikey Lewis decide, let them decide who was going to win that grand final. Everyone had the same feeling as me coming off, knowing that game had gone well and that you're not the talking point. I felt like as a team, me, Richard, Johnny, the on-field officials, then with Liam Moore as video referee, I thought we were very much all in tune with one another and we just delivered.
We talk about the referee and there's no way that he could perform without the support of the touch judges, the video referee, the reserve officials. Everybody within that dressing room, we're all pulling in one direction. So tremendous respect to them for assisting on the grand final to make it a success for us.
Did we improve the group as a collective from 2023 to 2024? I think we did.
I think in 2024, the group probably performed as well as I've known since being full-time.
There's always lessons along the way, and I think there's always improvement areas. I thought we got better as the season went on.
2024 at the beginning was all about making my debut. After that came, it was all about being consistent when I did get the chances.
How I look back on 2024 in the grand scheme of things, I'd probably say it was the year that got away.
I'll always look back on the 2024 season with such fond memories. I've loved rugby league for as long as I've known. So now to be able to share that love with the people closest to me is fantastic.
My long-term aspirations are to ref the big games, to ref the finals and everything that comes with that.
I want to be back in the middle, either at Wembley or Old Trafford.
The hopes for the group are very much based around us being successful as a whole team.
I think it's really promising signs for the future on how competitive and how much of a step forward the department is going into.